Hello everyone. Let's get started with AWS Glue. This is one of the changes from we have an understanding of data engineering and a whole picture of ETL and how data engineering works with ETL. We will now learn to apply all of these understanding into a cloud server. AWS is a cloud provider and we can use AWS for deploying any server which we call as VM. The physical servers are accessible through virtual machines, and these machines again can be used for various purposes. Our task here is to create a data engineering architecture inside AWS. But the good news is we don't need to set up a server from scratch. We don't need to really have, every function that ETL needs, extract, transform, and load to be created from scratch. We can just log into AWS console and start using it. That's the good news that I have. So AWS Glue, let's get to know about it. AWS Glue is a fully managed ETL which can do extract, transform, and load just like any other ETL tools. So it has these three functionalities. The basic ETL functionalities, just like any other ETL tool, as I have explained, and it is serverless data integration service. What does that mean? Just now I have explained to you. We don't need to have a physical server or even a VM virtual machine installed to use this. We can just directly go and pull our data, start doing transformations, and load the data. That's it. That's what something is known as a serverless. A serverless is something just like a SaaS platform because there are a lot of specification and variations and varieties that match with SaaS platforms within serverless architecture. The consumer can be relaxed, with respect to infrastructure as it will be taken care by AWS. And AWS Glue provides all of the capabilities needed for data integration so that you can start analyzing your data and putting it into use in minutes instead of months. Isn't it surprising and magical? So, let's get to know more about the AWS Glue. Um, so, first thing, build data warehouse. We use this AWS Glue to organize, clean, validate, and format data for storage in data warehouse. We run queries against data lake. For example, S3 data can be cataloged using Glue, which can then used for serverless queries of the data in S3. So Glue is primarily used to build a data warehouse. However, it is used to organize, clean, validate, and format data for storage in data warehouse. Glue also runs serverless queries against data lake created with AWS S3. Data is cataloged in Glue, and queries from Amazon Athena or let's say AWS QuickSight are run for faster response. Glue can be used when event driven ETL pipelines are to be created. I mean, that's also another functionality of it. So, as soon as new data is available, ETL jobs are run by invoking thorough AWS Lambda function. In our hotel example, using initial ETL, all the current data is moved to data warehouse, isn't it? We saw that example. But what about data that is added newly? Like new employee or everyday customer data, appending hotel data, expense data, etc. All these additions or modifications or deletions are events that occur on the data and will trigger an automated job to make the changes in the data warehouse. Hence, we need not worry about data additions and modifications. It will be taken care by AWS Glue automatically. You can store your data using various AWS services, but can view it using Amazon Glue catalog. And it has a functionality, Amazon Glue has a functionality to quickly search and query all the databases of your. So we as we said, as we explained, it's an event driven ETL pipeline. As the new event comes, it will load the data. The fourth one is understanding data assets. Glue can be used in central catalog for data spread across other databases. Metadata can be also stored in a Glue. Okay, so that's an clear understanding of AWS Glue and why you are using AWS Glue. What are the functionalities of AWS Glue? Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back to this video. Remember the data engineering architecture. Don't you think that it looks like same? Now let us change the architecture according to AWS Glue, and we will see the difference. So the sources are same, the pipeline looks same, but as you see here, we are using Amazon S3 for pulling all the data from these different sources and loading into Amazon S3 bucket. Now that data store is again pulled through Amazon Glue crawler, that's helping us to pull the data from S3 bucket, and further we use Amazon Glue data catalog to create connections to this S3 bucket and crawl the data using crawler and store it or basically view it through a Glue catalog. So we will learn about, or we will understand more about this Amazon Glue crawler and Glue data catalog in our next videos, upcoming videos. But for now, just understand that crawler is helping us to crawl through all the S3 files that we have in S3 bucket, and that is being managed through Glue data catalog. And basically then further we do the ETL using Amazon Glue ETL part is a combination of extraction, transformation, and loading, and then we basically load it into a MySQL AWS RDS data warehouse. Okay, then it is used for data visualization. Okay, next let's understand Glue crawler. Glue crawler, as you look at this screen, so the AWS bucket or S3 bucket is being crawled by the Glue crawler and loaded into AWS Glue data catalog. Crawler is nothing but an extractor. It is the first program that runs in AWS Glue processor, right? It extracts the data from the data sources, and it is the program that connects to the data source S3, DynamoDB, Athena, etc. to scan your data and create multi-data or metadata tables in Glue data catalog. It can scan multiple data sources in single run. Once completed, it will create table in data catalog. This table can be used for further processing in Athena, ETL jobs, Redshift spectrum. Okay, so this is primary method used by most AWS Glue users. A crawler can crawl multiple data sources, multiple data stores in a single run. Upon completion, the crawler creates or updates one or more tables in your data catalog. Extract, transform, and load jobs that you define in AWS Glue use and use these data catalog tables as sources and targets. The ETL job reads from and writes to the data stores that are specified in sources and target data catalog tables. Okay. All right. So let's move into that and let's understand how crawler works in detail. So let's have a look. On the top, we have these five different components: AWS S3, Amazon RDS, Amazon Redshift, Amazon DynamoDB, and JDBC. So JDBC can be used for any database connectivity. So first thing is that the the data being pulled from these four or five different data stores, that is given as an example. There could be many more or there could be one or two. So let's say the data, to pull the data, right, we definitely need to create a connection. So once we establish a connection to these data stores using connect data store, or even using data catalog, we create a connection to connect to these data stores, and we basically define a crawler. The crawler identifies the pattern in any of these sources that we are intended to bring the data or pull the data from, and takes that data and loads into the data catalog. So once we have this data pulled, we write the metadata into target database, for example Amazon Redshift, or it could be an S3 bucket as well. Okay. So I will explain the crawler in little bit more detail. Like, it has primarily two types of executions. One is custom classifier, another is built-in classifier. So classifier is, as by the name you can see, that it classifies data to determine the format, schema, and associated properties of the raw data. So that determines the schema of your data. For example, you have connected to S3 bucket and it will look for all the CSV file or text file or JSON file. You need to specify that. So AWS Glue provides classifiers for common file types such as CSV, JSON, Avro, XML, and others. It also provides classifiers for common relational database management systems using JDBC, or which is nothing but Javasoft application. Okay, so it's a standard application, and you can write your own classifier by using grok pattern or by specifying a row tag in the XML document. There are primarily two types of classifier available: built-in classifier, and it is like it's knows the data match by certainly percentage, and custom classifier, correct? So as we see in the screen here, so groups the custom classifier groups the data into tables or partitions. If the data is partitioned, data is grouped based on crawler heuristics. So the step 3 that we can see from this screen, after we have these data been crawled from these different sources, so we basically configure this data catalog, and that helps us. This crawler adds and updates the data and deletes the tables and partitions if needed. So when we define a crawler, we chose one or more classifiers that evaluate the format of the data to infer a schema. So when the crawler runs, the first classifier in the list to successfully recognize the data store is used to create a schema from the table. We can use built-in classifier or define our own. So we define our custom classifier in a separate operation before we define the crawlers. AWS Glue provides built-in classifiers to infer schemas from common files with formats that include JSON, CSV, and Apache Avro. So kind of a very well featured and well organized way to bring the data and understand or basically crawl through your files, and this is basically helping us what we need and how much we need, and find the pattern in the data, right? So that's pretty much about AWS crawler and how basically crawler is helping us pull the data and do the crawling over different data sources, databases, data warehouses, and also like in S3 bucket or file systems, right? And then we write the data to a different database or S3 buckets as well. So that's pretty much about it, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this. Welcome everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about data catalog. So we understood about AWS Glue and we understood how crawler works, and we also saw in between how data catalog has been used. In simple terms, data catalog provides a single self-service environment to the user, helping them find, understand and trust the data sources. It's a persistent metadata store. So it also helps the users to discover the new data sources if there are any. For example, like discovering and understanding data sources are the initial steps of registering the sources. Users search for data catalog tools based on needs and filters the appropriate results. So it has the users and uses a catalog discovery to find the data which fits their needs. Key capabilities of these approach can be divided into four different sections. One is search and discovery, then is data intelligence, manage business glossary, empowering confidence in data. So though we are not going into very detail of those, but let's understand that how this data catalog is helping us do different problem solving. So as we understood that these are the primary features, these four features are primary features of Glue catalog. Glue data catalog is whatever we build in AWS Glue, like for example the sources, the transformations, and also we create connection to the targets, right? So all of these metadata information also gets stored into data catalog. There should be an repository, or there should be a small metadata store or database that needs to store all of this information, and Glue data catalog is something is helping us to store all of those information. These empowering, one thing is that this empowering confidence in data, and it assures data driven decisions can be taken through the cataloged data, right? So building a catalog starts with collecting a metadata of sources. After obtaining the metadata, the entries, the metadata entities need to be categorized and assigned different building catalog, right? So we have different steps for that, but we are not going to very in depth about how data catalog is storing the data and all. But as an overview, the data catalog is something that where we manage all of these different sources and their metadata. All right, so I hope I'm able to make you understand what exactly is data catalog and why data catalog is being used in AWS environment. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.